Okay. Sasa kwa Kiswahili, labda nikisema kwa Kiswahili ni kwamba oral interview questions unatakiwa upate 90%. Okay, if not 100. Kwa nini? Kwa sababu ni maswali ambayo unatakiwa uscore very high. Kwa sababu utaulizwa maswali ambayo ya kawaida au maswali ambayo yanajirudia. Kila interview utakayoenda maswali ni hayo, lazima haya maswali yajirudie. Tell me about yourself. What is your greatest weakness? Why should we hire you? Okay? Why do you want to work here? Sawa, what is your greatest strength? When is the situation, where were you in the, what did you do when this situation arose? When you had a team member who was not doing job, or when you had a team member who was not collaborating with you, and so on. So there are questions that will come over and over and over in every interview you go. So what you want to do, you score very high on common interview questions, and then any difficult interview questions, unaenda na katika maswali magumu ukiwa tayari una accumulation ya nini? Ya points zako. Sasa I can tell you one thing. I'm starting to dive very quickly kwa sababu niko excited to share this. Let us look at the content, okay? Kabla sija nani. So what we are going to look, obviously my profile, and then we'll look, the first question we'll look at is tell me about yourself. Alafu taangalia, what is your greatest strength? What is your greatest weakness? Why should we hire you? Why do you want to work here? And how to practice the questions. So these questions, they seem like very few. However, when you start breaking down each of these questions and how you should answer them, then you start understanding the level of detail that you need to know for you to effectively answer these questions. All right? Are we together, guys? We will see. So I've already said who I am and so on. I worked in Tanzania, United Kingdom, and Malta. I have BA and MSc in accounting and finance. I'm also a member of CIMA, right? Chartered Management Accounting. So let us start. Tell me about yourself. Sasa, this is what usually happens. As soon as you sit down, okay, facing your interviewers, they will say to you, so Mr. David Mchivi, tell us about yourself. So what usually happens is people would start explaining a long story about who they are and where they're coming from and which school did they go and so on. So that's not the idea for this. It's not to tell your life story. Okay, your life story, you keep it to yourself. I am an employer. I am an employer. I just want to know, who are you and how do you fit to this job that I'm advertising or this job that I'm interviewing you for. Okay, so don't tell me about your primary school. Don't tell me where you were born. Okay, I just want to know some key details about you. So let us look about how to answer this question. Okay, so you want to be second, honest and engaging. Maana yake ni kwamba you have to make your answer brief and clearly expressed. Don't overdo it. Don't put your answer or the details too long and boring and details that are not necessary. Okay, so you have to understand each interview has a time limit. Okay, each interview has a time limit. If I call you for an interview, okay, if I call you for an interview, you have to understand that I have other candidates who are waiting to be interviewed. So I would put maybe 30 minutes to 45 minutes to interview you. Okay, so if I ask you a question, I want you to be straight. I want you to be brief. I want you to be relevant. Okay, you have to keep your answers relevant to the questions, to the job I'm interviewing you for. Okay, relevant for the job, relevant for the role. Okay, relevant to your experience. So that you don't waste my time so that I can go through I can finish the interview process for you very quickly and go to the next one, and then we can do the assessment and give you feedback. The second thing you have to consider that you must be honest. So you must be honest. You must be honest with the interviewer so that he will not think that you're making things up. Okay? Tuko pamoja? Are we together? So please mute yourself when you join. So basically, don't say something that is not true. Don't make up stuff. Don't pretend you are qualified more than you are. Don't pretend you have more experience than you actually have. Don't pretend you know a certain program or a certain package or a certain system while you don't know. Okay? So you have to the honest you are, the truthful you are, the higher the chance of you doing well in the interview. Also, it will create a very good starting point for you to engage with the interviewer. Because the moment the interview thinks that you're lying, you have to understand they will never give you the job. Okay? If the interviewer suspects that you're lying, you will not get the job. Maybe you get away with it, and then, but later on, they may find out. Okay? So you also have to understand that even if I interview you now, I will still do references, right? I will still go through references. I will ask questions about from the referees you have submitted, and so on. So I have other ways in which I can verify that the information you have given me is true or not. Okay. All right. So as you deliver your answer, ensure that you are engaged with the interviewer. Can you guys see my screen? Eh? Okay. As you deliver your answer, ensure that you engage with the interviewer. What does it mean? If you are answering a question, okay, I want you to look me in the eyes, okay? I want you to face me. Don't look in the wall. Don't look in the ceiling. Don't look in your hands. Don't look at your pen, okay? I want you to face me. Look at me. Tell me, give me your answer, but keep me engaged, okay? Keep me engaged so that I know what you're saying is true. I know that you're confident about what you're talking about. You know what you're talking about, and you have nothing to hide. Okay, so in certain cultures, especially in the Western culture, if you are not looking at someone in their eyes, it means that you're trying to hide something. In certain cultures, maybe it's rude, but very few cultures, okay? In the corporate setting or in the business setting, the cultures, okay, they are very, very close. Sawa, kwamba whether you are being interviewed in Tanzania or you're being interviewed in UK, they are very similar set of expectations, okay, in how you engage with the interviewer. So I hope this is clear, guys. Okay. All right, using job description. So the second thing you have to consider when you are answering the question, tell me about yourself, you have to use the job description. Okay, because I want you to tell me how do you fit with the job that I'm interviewing for. So the job that you are here, you are trying to present yourself as the right fit for that job or for that role. So you have to prepare beforehand, going through job description. What does it mean? When you're doing an application, you will see an ad, okay? An advert, whether it's in newspaper or in the recruitment website and so on. You have to take that job description, you have to photocopy that, you have to or download it or screenshot it and save it somewhere safe, okay? But the best way is you can copy and paste on the Word document and save it in a specific folder where you are doing preparation for that specific interview. So you can have several folders for different job applications, from job description, the CV that you have submitted for that job description, sawa, and any specific document ambao is specific for that particular job for that particular company. So you should have a folder called job application, right? On that folder, you should have CV folder, okay, where you have different CVs for different occasions or for different situations. So you have the general CV that you can apply for any generic roles like sales and marketing, customer care, and so on. And then you have specialized CV. Okay, this is the CV that is specific to your profession. Okay, so if you're an accountant or you're an engineer, you will have a CV that reflects that specifically. Correct? Tuko pamoja? Sawa. So, and then you will also have a folder, okay, for each job that you have applied. I'll tell you why. Because if someone calls you, okay, and asks you, Joseph, did you apply? Do you remember that you applied? So I'm just going to let some people in. Do you remember that you applied Bonito bottles, right? Or did you apply to whatever? Okay, you just received a call. What are you going to say? Are you going to say, sorry, I applied to so many jobs. I am not sure when I applied to your company. Okay, you will not say that. That is embarrassing. Okay, what you can do, as if they call you, if they say, do you remember Joseph, that you applied for an accounting job? You have to think in your head, okay, I know that I've applied for accounting job from company A, B, C, D. And then you say, yes, I remember that. Which company is this? Just to gauge a little bit. As soon as they say the name, you say, yeah, I remember that. I remember I applied maybe in February and so on. In Tanzania, most of applications take time to be processed. Okay, so you may apply in February, the person may call you in June. Okay, so if you haven't saved the job description, you will lose it. Okay, kwa hiyo, what you can do, if they say that they want to interview, they want to do a phone interview. If they say that they want to do a phone interview, say, listen, right now, I just received your call. I was moving around. Let me get to my place of, to a comfortable place where I can open my job description and other information relevant, so that we can have a good conversation in a quiet environment. I can be able to hear what you're saying, and you can be able to hear what I am saying. Okay, so you don't want to do a phone interview while you're on the road, or while you're in the bar, or while you are in the cafe. Okay, unless you have your laptop with you, you can try. Okay, so the key is you always try to have a control of the environment. Ili sasa unaporudi nyumbani au unapofungua kwenye unaenda straight kwenye job description, so that when they are asking you questions, you can see on the job description. Okay, okay, naenda pembeni kidogo lakini, but they are still relevant things. Okay, second thing, highlight the prominent required skills, right, to see which one you possess. Maanake kwamba when you look at the job description, there will be three categories. Okay, the first category are things that you know, sir, and you have experience in doing them. Okay, you know them and you have experience. The second category are things that, or items or activities that you just know by theory, but you don't have experience. Okay, the third category, okay, on the job description are things that you don't know them in theory, and you have never done anything closer to that. Okay, so what you do, you take a highlighter like this one, okay? You mark, okay? So you mark in green things that you know and you have experience, okay? You have theoretical knowledge and you know them by experience. And then you mark yellow for things that you only have theoretical experience. And then you mark red for things that you completely have no idea. And what you're going to do, you are going to find out, okay? For the red category, you have to go and search, do a search, or do fact finding, okay, to understand what do they mean by this? What do they mean by financial reporting? What do they mean by, I don't know, marginal analysis? What do they mean by statistical blah, blah, blah? Okay, whatever it is that you have completely no idea, so that you get at least the theoretical knowledge of it. All right? So, because what you want to do, what you're trying to achieve is that someone will ask you a question based on the job description. And this is why it's important for you to have the job description in a safe place. So even when you go to an interview, you have to have your job description with you, always. Okay, we'll talk about what kind of documents you need when you go to an interview. We'll touch that on interview preparation, okay? So you highlight the prominent required skills. So when you're saying who you are also talking a little bit about your experience, especially experience that is relevant to the job that you're being interviewed for. Okay? So your answer will therefore have things that ties you back to the job you're applying for. Okay, so let's do an example. If I am being interviewed for an accounting job, what would be my introduction? My introduction would be, my name is Alfred Seni. I have bachelor and master's in accounting and finance. I'm also a member of SEMA. Okay, I have experience in accounting for 8 years, and mostly I've worked with the finance teams that are from that have a size of 5 to 15 people. Okay, I am interested in working in an NGO, in NGOs or other non-profit organizations like civic organizations, so that I can improve my exposure in non-profit sectors, and so forth and so on. So I've started obviously saying my name. I talked about my experience. I talked about my interest and why I'm applying for that job. Why am I interested on working for them? Okay, so you don't want to, if your interest is in private sector, you cannot say that you have interest in private sector while you're being interviewed in a charity. Okay, so you try to keep everything relevant to the job you're applying for. And the thing is, you have to write this answer the day before or 3 days before, even a week before, because you already know that you're going for an interview, I don't know, to serve children or whatever it is, whatever NGO or whatever organization you're going to be interviewed. Okay, so you will write down the answer so that you practice it. So you don't have to think. Okay, I am thinking now, but if I actually had to be in that situation, I'll write down my answer so that I don't have to think. I just flow. Okay, it will be so fast. Okay, unaelewa, yani, the more you practice your answers, the better you are. So that you can answer this question very quickly. Within 3 minutes, umeshamaliza. Okay, tuko pamoja. Showcase your strength. Okay, so another aspect, so we are talking about 3 aspects. The other aspect, you have to showcase your strength. Your answer to the question, tell me about yourself, make sure you include your strength. Vitu gani ambavyo wewe unaweza, vitu gani ambavyo wewe vinakudifferentiate na candidates wengine. Okay, whether it's problem solving skills, whether it's managing teams, whether it's presentation skills, whether it's your ability to network, okay, or you're an effective communicator. Okay, you have to highlight these things. All right. So after saying who you are, your qualification, why you're interested in which sector you're interested to grow, and then you have touched on why you have specifically applied for that, just lightly, and then you also highlight some of your strengths. Okay, if you're a great communicator, you can, or if like someone like me, I enjoy networking with people, I enjoy communicating with people, so I would highlight that. Okay, I can say that I enjoy meeting people, I enjoy networking and getting to know other business owners. I enjoy going to events and marketing the company I'm working for or the clients I'm working for. This is something I do naturally. I don't have to force myself. And I believe that this particular role, this particular job in your organization will give me opportunity to do just that. Okay, so I'm nailing it. I'm just straight down saying that, okay, you know what? The job you are advertising, the job that I'm being interviewed for is the right job for me from the outset. Okay, are we together? Okay, so we go to the second one. Okay, so you can see the level of detail on just answering this simple question. Tell me about yourself. Okay, so it's not about your life story. Okay, it's about you being able to show why you are the right person for the job. Okay, you always have to go back to being relevant to the job you're applying for. Okay, what is your greatest strength? Sasa, this question may appear difficult. It's not difficult. It's not difficult. Okay, what is your greatest strength? So you think yourself, for example, if you're a company, let's take a step back. If you're a company, okay, you'll have something called SWOT analysis, right? Where you have a strength, weakness, opportunity, and threats, right? You study this at university. So if you are a company, you have to understand what is your strength. What is it that you have that others don't have, or majority don't have? Okay, so that when we come to interviews, you're basically selling yourself. It's a similar process. Okay, so your strength is something that you have that other candidates do not have. And how are you going to identify this? Okay, how are you going to identify this? Very easy. When you are at university, people will tell you, David, you're so good at this. John, you're so good at this. Ashura, you're so good at this. You should think about starting a business on this. You should think about doing this and this. Can you teach me about this and this? When you see people telling you that you're good at this, or your teachers or your lecturers or your parents or someone home telling you that you're good at A, B, C, D, that is your strength. Okay, but you can also notice your strength when you interact with people. Okay, some people, they're just good with people. Okay, when they talk to people, people open up and give them all their secrets or all their information easily. Okay, because their strength is communication. Okay, they communicate very well, they make other people feel comfortable and so on. Okay, others, their greatest strength is numbers. Okay, they're just good with numbers. Okay, so understand what is it that you are good at. The second way of knowing is when you finish university or while you're still at university, if you ever did a project, okay, or if you are volunteering or if you're doing an internship, okay, you will notice areas that you're very good at, but you also notice areas that you're not good at. So you have to take a note of the things that you're good at, things that you don't struggle, you don't think, you just do them naturally, okay? Things that you just enjoy doing them, okay? So, which means then you can look at your experience. We are talking about the experience of while you're at university, doing projects, or while you're doing volunteering or internship. or interaction with the business sector or with networking events and so on. And then you choose as a relevant and specific example. Relevant means something that relates to the job you're applying for. Again, it means you must have already read the job description. You must understand the job you're applying for. Never go to an interview without understanding what you're being interviewed for. Okay, that is not good. Not good. Okay, be specific. Use numbers, percentages, and milestones, and so on. So, if you say you're good with people, let's say, okay, or you're good at leading teams, then you have to tell me what have you achieved while leading teams, okay? Then you can give an example, say, when I was leading a team of 5 people on the role that I had with my previous employer, we managed to move the reporting times. We managed to do our reporting as early as 5 days after the end of the month. Before I arrived at that company, those reports were coming out 8 days after the end of the month. So I was able to reduce the reporting delay by 3 days, and that saved the company X amount of money. Okay, when I was a sales manager, I was able to lead my team to close 5 more accounts in a month. Prior to that, they were only able to close 2 to 1 accounts in a month. This doubled the revenue of the company I was working for, and I was able to receive awards at the end of the year. Okay, and when I was working for dash dash dash, I was able to do dash dash dash. This means dash dash dash, and so on. Okay, so you choose specific example, na hizo example utakazotoa zinatakiwa iwe ni rahisi kuwa verified. So if that person calls that employer and say, do you know Fadila? Was Fadila working at your company as a marketing manager? They have to say yes. Okay. Did Fadila achieve these results when Fadila was working at your company? Then the person has to say yes. Yes, he's a good person. Okay, he did achieve those results, and so on. This is why you have to write referees, people that you trust, because if you don't trust the person, don't write that person down. Okay. Highlight soft and technical skills. We already talked about that. Soft skills is dealing with people, communicating, solving problems, and so on. Technical skills as hard skills, such as use of specific programs or softwares or specific techniques, technical skills that you need to have, maybe special certification, or so they don't really have anything to do with human beings. So when we talk about soft skills, they are humanistic skills, okay? Skills that helps you to engage with other people, to lead other people, to make other people become better of themselves, okay? Just admitting more people. Okay, tuko pamoja. Soft skills, they deal with human. Technical skills, they deal with operation, or they deal with using tools and devices. All right, that's the way of explaining the two. Choose the relevant and the specific experience. We already talked about that. Okay, so I think now you understand. Please, can you mute yourself? I'll mute you anyway. So example, this is very similar to what I was saying. If you're a salesperson, you can talk about the time you helped a customer make informed decision on the package they chose and how you resolve the customer complaint. Okay, very simple, straightforward, guys. Okay, but you need to write your answer down. You need to write your answer down, and you need to review your answer, so that when you are there, you don't have to think, you don't have to get stuck, you just flow. Okay, you just flow. All right. Tupo pamoja. because you don't have any excuse. You know they are going to ask you this question, okay? 99% of the time they'll ask you this question. So if you haven't prepared, you are not serious, okay? You're not serious. That's the truth, okay? All right. Be specific, use numbers, percentages, milestones. We already talked about that, okay? As we talk about your strength, tumeshaongelea hapo targets na kadhalika. We have covered that, guys. Highlight soft and technical skills. We have covered that. Do you have project leadership skills? Then bring an example when you are when you do project planning and managing team to ensure that the project was delivered on time. We have covered that. Effective communicator. We have covered that. Let us go to another question. What is your greatest weakness? Now this is tougher than the previous one. Sasa kama mtu anakuuliza udhaifu wako ni nini, what is the impression you're getting? Okay, if someone is asking you what is your greatest weakness, or even if they just ask you what is your weakness, what do you think is your weakness? Okay, what would you think? What comes to your mind? Okay, it means it throws you off a little bit, because okay, I am here in the interview. I thought the interview is for me selling myself. Okay, so if I'm selling myself, how can I show my weakness? How can I say my weakness if I want to get the job? If I say my weakness, then obviously they'll not give me the job. Okay, now you're missing out the point. The point is no one is perfect. Okay, you no matter how you think you are, no matter your grades or what you did in previous job, you're not perfect, and you will never be perfect. So this is the idea of this question is for you to have self-awareness of the areas that you need to work on. Okay, to have self-awareness of the areas that you need to work on, because if you are self-aware of your weaknesses, of areas that you need to improve, of areas that you need training, of areas that you need help or coaching or guidance from someone who is senior than you or from someone who is experienced than you, then it means you make the right effort, okay, to improve yourself. Take up on okay. So the tip for answering this question, you show that you're authentic and self-aware. What is authentic? You're real. Okay, you're you. Okay, you're not trying to be someone else, right? You pick a weakness that is also a strength. Okay, so what does that mean? Can a weakness also be a strength? Yes, it's true, because weakness on one part may also be a strength on another part. Okay, for example, if you are organized, okay, you can say, I am extremely organized. However, what happens sometimes is I may take longer to make a decision because I want things to go in a certain way. So even when we have an emergency or we have a crisis, I would like to use the same process I use, despite the fact that the timeline has been reduced and decision making has to be done so fast. So my organization skills sometimes can hinder me, but most of the time I think it's fine. So now what I'm working on is making sure that I'm not only organized, but also I understand sometimes I have to use a different process. Maybe sometimes I may have to jump to be spontaneous, okay? If I need to be spontaneous, or to be a bit random, or to be a bit creative, or to be a bit less worried about following the system and to follow my high organized approach that I have. Okay, so that can be one example. Okay, you could also, for example, you're maybe detail-oriented person. In accounting, detail-oriented person is someone who is highly sought after, right? But being detail-oriented person can also have its setback. Okay, because you're looking for every little detail. So if someone is submitting a proposal, sometimes it may take you longer okay, to actually go through it or to actually authorize a proposal or not. And that person may go somewhere else and submit that opportunity to another person. So if an opportunity comes to you, you may be trying to look at every small, tiny little detail and miss out opportunity. Okay, if you are risk averse, it's a weakness, but it's also a strength. The risk averse person can be suitable in places where you need lower returns, right? You need lower returns, like investing in bonds and so on. So, and risk averse person may not be the right person when it comes to VC funding, venture capital funding, right? Where you have to be able to take higher risks and invest in startups that do not have even an idea what they're doing. Okay, so you see, each item can be a strength or can be a weakness depending on the situation. So you can bring something that you think is something that you need to work on, but also it's a strength in other situations. Are we together? And I think we may have some ideas. Okay, you don't have to be perfect. We have talked about it. Okay, authentic and self-awareness. Self-aware means that you know where you need to improve. But it doesn't end there. You need to have a plan on how you're going to improve on areas that you are aware that you need to work on. I had an interview, okay, when I was in UK, and I didn't get the job. The reason I didn't get the job, I showed what was my weakness, okay, just as I was explaining, but I did not tell them what plan do I have to address that weakness. So I asked for feedback. I said, hi, so-and-so, or dear so-and-so, please let me have just a short feedback from you to understand which area of the interview, I can improve. And say, you did very well in the interview. The only thing, one thing that we noticed is that you did recognize where your weaknesses are, but you did not give us a plan on how you're going to address that weakness. You see, so you missed the job. Okay, so you need to not only to tell me, maybe I need more organization skills because I am a risk taker. So I don't, maybe that's not the right, I'm a risk-averse person, but I am willing to learn in this industry. I understand that I have to become a risk taker. Okay, so I'm willing to learn how I can take high risk, but also mitigate the downfall for taking high risks and finding the right opportunities for taking such risks. Okay, so you also try to show the plan that you have on mitigating whatever it is that you think you need to work on, or whatever other side of the coin that you need to establish yourself on. Okay. Okay, pick a weakness that is also strength you already. So don't say that I drink too much. Okay, you cannot do that. You cannot say sometimes I don't feel like going to work, or one of my weaknesses, sometimes I'm lazy. Okay, you cannot do that. That is no. You cannot pick a weakness that is weakness, or that is bad. That's not even weakness. Is bad attitude, no work ethic. Clearly, okay. So you cannot say it. Sometimes I drink too much that the next day I may come late. No, don't do that. It doesn't work like that. You have to pick a weakness that is also a strength. Okay. The last thing you want is pick a weakness that disqualifies you. The idea is to take a weakness that is safe. It could be a behavior that is not necessary for the success of the job, but at the same time comes handy. Okay. Have a plan of fixing that weakness we talked about. That, so we go to the next question. Why should we hire you? Now, this is 100%, like 100% of the time, someone will ask you this. Okay. So if you haven't written a pre-prepared answer of what you're going to say when someone asks you, why should we hire you? Don't go to the interview. just don't go. Just don't go. Just do other things. Go and play. Go and whatever it is you want to do. Because if you cannot answer this question, then why are you in the interview in the first place? Okay. You should know why you are applying for that job, or at least you should have an answer that will show them why you're applying for that job, okay? Why they should hire you. Why are you the right candidate? Why should we hire you means why you and not the other person? Why you and not Michael? Or why you and not, I don't know, the other person who is coming next? Okay, so you need to say that, look, I am the right guy for you, or I am the right girl or woman for you, whatever. Okay, because A, B, C, D. Okay, you need to find something that makes you stand out. But whatever it is that you find that makes you stand out has to be aligned with the job description. It all comes down to job description, guys, because job description simply tells you when you are at that work, okay, when you are at that job, okay. So I'm just gonna admit more people. Okay, you can just let me know if there are people waiting in the room. Please feel free to tell me. When you start working in any place, you'll be working according to the job description. Okay, the job description is the I don't know how to explain it. Okay, when you get a contract and you start working, they're not going to change the job description. Job description just says every day or every month or every week you'll be doing this X, Y, Z. Okay, so either you know it, or you have experience on it, or on doing that, or you have a knowledge on that, or at least you can be trained to do that. Okay, 4 things: you know it, you have knowledge about it, you have experience about it, or we can train you to do that. Okay, job description activities. Okay, so usually the job advert, you would have about 2 to 3 parts. You have the job description, and then you have the qualifications. Okay, these are the 2 main sections. Okay, you may have a little bit about the company, but you have to see, okay, qualifications. Do I have the qualification? Yes, tick. Job description. How many of these items in the job description I can do? If you can do 60%, 70%, apply. Okay. If you can only do 10%, 20%, maybe you shouldn't apply. Okay. So why should we hire you? Through this question, you can do 3 steps, right? Ensure you match your strength with the job description. So how can you do that if you did not review the job description? How can you do that if you did not do the process I was telling you, where you highlight the items in the job description that you know and you have experience? Okay, and some that you know but only theoretical knowledge and so on. Okay, you need to. So your green items, we talked about the green items, the things that you have theoretical knowledge and practical knowledge. Okay, you have to take them and match them with your strength, meaning that your strength is you have done them before. The strength is you have the qualifications, the right qualification to do them, right? The strength is you have led teams to do that, or you have achieved the quantifiable results, okay, that can be submitted or can be proved by doing those activities. So if one activity is selling to clients new packages or new software, you have done that and you have achieved a specific milestone, or you have hit the targets of the month or of quarter, right? Share your accomplishment from previous roles. So whatever it is that you accomplished in the previous role, and we are thinking that that role, the previous role, is relevant to this role. So if you are applying for accounting job, okay, you are not going to say, when I was a salesperson, I was hitting targets every month, okay? Because these 2 jobs are very different. Okay, these 2 jobs are very different. You cannot the accomplishment of this job may not necessarily fit. However, sales can be closely related to marketing and communication, right? So use accomplishments on the jobs that are aligned to the job that you're being interviewed for. Okay. So show that you can be a great fit. What does it mean by great fit? Okay. If you take different pieces of the puzzle, right? And there's one piece that is missing. Okay, kuna kipande ambacho kina miss katika hiyo puzzle. Kama mnakumbuka kuna wakati kuna zile games zile ambazo zinakuwa na pieces nyingi, you have different pieces, then you stick them together and then you get the whole picture, right? It works the same way in organizations, right? An organization is full of pieces, and these pieces are employees, right? So if one employee has to be brought in, a candidate had to be brought in as an employee, he or she has to fit, okay, in the organization team, okay, in that specific team. Sawa, ndo maana one of the person who will be interviewing you will probably be the head of the department or the head of the business that you're going to be working on, right? So you have to show why are you great fit for an engineering team or purchase team or sales team or marketing team or finance team and so on. We're together, all right? Okay, so ensure that you match your strength with job description. We have talked about that, okay? So now we know here, previous role, we talked about that. You have to show that these accomplishments you have they make you uniquely qualified for the role. Uniquely qualified means they differentiate you from other candidates. So they differentiate you from other candidates. So tuko moja. Show that you're a great fit. We talked about that. So this is just broken down. You want to show that you can work well with others, right? Sindio? Kwamba unaweza kufanya kazi vizuri na wengine. Okay? You are a people person, not people pleaser. People pleaser is different. People pleaser ni mtu ambaye anajaribu kwa please watu bila ku please mute yourself. Bila ku please mute yourself. Joel Mtenzi. Okay? So you have to know how to draw your boundaries, okay? You have your job to do. Don't let other people tell you, don't allow other people to give you their job, things that they are supposed to be doing, and then they give you to do it, okay? And they still get paid, okay? So don't be a people pleaser. You have to be a people person, that you work well with others, but you're not trying to please other people. Please mute yourself, Joel Mtenzi. Okay, sorry about that. Okay, demonstrate that you understand the vision and mission. So guys, always before going to any interview, you have to read the mission and vision of the company. Okay, because the mission and the vision of the company is the guidance of the whole organization. Okay, why they do what they do, okay, where they want to get to, who are their ideal customers, what are they trying to achieve, okay, what is their position, what's the problem they're trying to solve, okay, what is it that makes them go to work every single day. Okay, so if you don't know the vision of the company, that does not look good for you, because the mission and vision is actually what determines the culture of the company as well. Okay, all right, tupo moja. And also you have to show that you have experience in supporting other team members who were struggling. Listen, kama mtu ana struggle, unapokuwa katika kazi, kama ukiona mtu mwingine ana struggle, mtu mwingine anashindwa kufanya kazi yake vizuri, kwa sababu sio kwa sababu ni mvivu, sio kwa sababu hapendi kazi, ila kuna vitu fulani labda ana lack, labda yuko slow kwenye kujifunza, then wewe kumsaidia yule mtu au kumsaidia yule mtu aweze kuachieve kufanya vizuri, it gives you more points. Sio usifurahie, don't be happy kwamba yule mtu mwenzako na struggle. Don't be happy. Okay? It doesn't make you look good. Okay? It makes you look bad. Okay? What you should do is try to see how you can support, but only support as much as you can. Okay? Don't support to the extent that it affects your work. Okay? All right? I think we're going well. Why do you want to work here? So, sasa, people confuse two questions. Why should we hire you and why do you want to work here? Okay? So, why should we hire you is you have to tell us why you and not John or Ashura or Rose, right? Why do you want to work here? It means you have to tell us why NMB and not Sarah DB? Why TBL and not, I don't know, TTC? Okay, why do you want to work with us and not the other company? Okay, so tuko pamoja. So use three strategies to answer this question. It's not about you, obviously. It's not about you, it's about them, it's about the company. Okay? Okay, so you have to make it about them. Why you think what makes you want to work with them? So it means that there's something that they have, whether it's in their mission and vision, or something in their culture, or something in what they're displaying on the role, that makes you want to work with them and not another company. Maybe it's how they interact with community. Maybe it's the way they interact with customers. Maybe it's the way they brand themselves. Maybe it's the way they value the employees. Okay, so you have to find something that makes you want to work with them. Okay, then show how the role fits what you are looking for. Okay, so you already know why, what is it that they have that attracts you to them, and then you have to show why then they are the ones that the role fits to what you're looking for. Why that role specifically? So it's not just about them, it's also about the role they're advertising. Okay, so why are you not going? Are you not going to apply? Why you don't want to work in marketing, but you want to work in finance? Why you want to work in language design and not customer experience or something like that? Where you have to show why specific for that role. I was interviewed for a treasury role. So the treasury, what you do, you just make sure there's enough money for the company to meet the expenses, right? But I wanted to work in finance. What's the difference? In finance, you're looking at everything from your cash flow position, the balance sheets and monthly reports in terms of how the company is doing on all business areas, right? Kwa hiyo kwa sababu nilikuwa offered kitu ambacho nilikuwa kiendani na kile ambacho nilikuwa nakitafuta, nikasema listen, thank you for this offer, but actually my interest is in finance team, not in treasury. Although treasury and finance, they are closely related, but they are not the same. Okay, so I knew what I was looking for. So when I went for another interview in another organization, okay, I say, look, I'm trying to improve my finance experience. I'm trying to build a track record working within the finance team. And this is the reason I think this role is the right fit for me. Okay? Kwa hiyo, what it tells them ni kwamba wewe sio kwamba umeangukia tu kwenye ile kazi, kwamba sio kwamba tulikuwa una click ukaklik ukakutana ile kazi ukaiclick, okay, uka-apply. Okay, you were actually looking for that particular job, for that particular role. That's a role. Role is the same, obvious. Role is just a way of explaining that it's a specific position within an organization, right? Be genuine. Add a little bit of human touch. Where you jibu lako likawa too mechanical. Give it a little bit of of yourself, wewe personality yako labda vile inaendana na hiyo kazi ambayo una apply. Okay, so if you are applying for accounting, obviously you're detail oriented. If you're applying for marketing, then you're a good communicator. You can easily engage in conversation with people, right? Sawa, tuko pamoja? Sawa, okay. So we talked about making about them. So don't talk too much about yourself. It's about them. So this is where your research comes handy. Maana kwamba wewe ili uweze kujibu swali kwamba kwa nini unataka kufanya kazi na sisi. Okay? That's the Swahili translation. You need to research. Unatakiwa we research your company. We will cover that in one of the subjects, right? Ambayo inaitwa interview preparation, right? There's a complete lesson for that, meaning that you have to look at the website. So unamaliza website, you have to look at the job that they have advertised. Unaipitia ile kazi vizuri. You have to look at people who are working for that job, similar people ambao, yani watu ambao wanafanya kazi hiyo kwa muda huo kwenye kampuni hiyo if possible, and then unaweza kuona qualifications zao. How are you going to do this? You have to use LinkedIn. Okay, you have to go to LinkedIn, search for that particular company, look for employees who are working for that company, and then what are their qualifications? The employees that are specifically working for that role. Kwa kama wana apply marketing, then utaangalia wale ambao wanafanya kazi kama nini? Kama marketing people katika hiyo kampuni, right? Sawa? Ili wewe uone, okay, kama yule ana qualification hizo na hizo na hizo, ndio anayefanya kazi kwenye kampuni hiyo ambapo mimi naenda kuwa interviewed. Je, mimi niko wapi? Okay? Where am I in comparison to that person? Are we together? Tuko pamoja? Based on research you've done, let them know you can add value. Sasa ukiwa unamwambia mtu add value, be tangible. Don't just make it something generic. Okay, you cannot just say, "Oh, I want to work with you because I know I can add value." How are you going to add value? Okay, then you have to talk about you have the right experience, you have done similar role, or you have the right knowledge, you understand the culture of the company, you understand the vision and the mission of the company, and the mission and the vision of the company resonates with your values. Okay, kwa sababu values ni muhimu. Wewe kama ni Muislamu, huwezi ukaenda ukafanya kazi kwenye kiwanda cha nguruwe. Okay? Kwa sababu values za kiwanda cha nguruwe zinapingana na values zako za nini? Za dini. Tuko pamoja? Tuko pamoja? Kwa sababu lazima kuna mshabiano katika kile wewe unachokiamini na kile ambacho ile kampuni inafanya. Usiende kufanya kitu katika usiende kufanya kazi na kampuni ambayo inapingana na wewe na yale mambo ambayo umeshikilia, umewekea umuhimu kama imani yako, mtazamo wako, kwa sababu hivi vitu vita affect utendaji wako wa kazi. Hata kama utalipwa, lakini vita affect nini? Utendaji wako wa kazi. Okay? Tuko pamoja? We're together, guys. Okay? So they're interested in what you can bring to the company before preparing advance for this question. Tumeshaongelea kwamba prepare maswali yako, majibu yako mapema. Let them know what you can contribute to the team based on your experience and qualification, obviously. So then show how the role fits what you want. Kwa hiyo hapa unaongelea nini? Career ambitions, right? kwamba wewe lazima utakuwa na career plan, some kind of career plan, at least it's some maybe 3 to 5 years. Mara nyingi itakuwa ni 3 to 5 years, kwa sababu ukipeleka zaidi ya hapo inaanza kuwa unrealistic, right? Kwa hiyo ina maana utajua kabisa kwamba mimi ili kufikia lengo, ili miaka mitatu au miaka mitano niwe I don't know, finance manager, lazima nipitie, nianze kwanza assistant accountant, senior accountant, team accountant or accounting manager, financial controller, financial manager, and so on. Okay, kwa hiyo kuna steps. Kila sehemu, uende kwenye engineering, uende kwenye udaktari, uende kwenye whatever career that you choose, there will be steps. Okay, and each step will have specific period ambayo roughly will have to stay, and depending on how opportunities arise, sometimes you may go faster, sometimes you may go slow. Okay, so kwa ina maana wewe hiyo kazi ambayo unaenda ku apply, the job that the job that you are being interviewed for will have to fit to one of those steps. Okay, to one of those steps that takes you to where you want to be. Then you can demonstrate that actually this is the job you're looking for, because this job fits my career ambition and my career plan. Okay, it becomes easy, becomes natural, becomes you don't have to sell it, because they can see it, they can understand that you mean it. I apologize if you hear any noise of one of our dog. Okay, so only after you have demonstrated, add value to them, you can show how the role fits to what you're looking for. We have talked about that. Allows you to take opportunity because for something you're passionate about. Your exposure to growth, we have talked about that. Obvious growth, we're talking about career growth, right? Right. Be genuine and add a human touch. We talked about that. Don't be mechanical. Okay, listen. There are people, those people who are interviewed, they are also human beings. Okay, so if you're too rigid and too mechanical, everything, too descriptive, the idea sio kwamba wewe kukrem majibu. It's not about you reproducing answers. Okay, the idea is for you to be well prepared, so when you give answers, it becomes natural. Right? We understand each other. Sasa, because the human beings, try is so try to have a bit of a touch. Sometimes I make interviewers laugh. Okay, if I have an opportunity to make them laugh, I make them laugh, as long as I do it appropriately and professionally. Okay, it is fine. Okay, because if they laugh or they smile for something that I said that was professional, was appropriate for that occasion or for that answer, for that question, it means they become not softened, they become loose, they become comfortable to talk to me, they become they start enjoying having interview with me. Okay, so listen, an interview doesn't have to be a chore, doesn't have to be a torture. It can be an enjoyable experience. Okay, both to an interviewer and to interviewee. Okay, it can be an enjoyable experience because you're getting to know each other. Okay, you can have a laugh, you can have a chat. Okay, don't go too much out of the point. Okay, but if there's a bit of humor, if you can put a bit of humor on something, do it. Okay, just watch out the type of interviewers you have. If that is something appropriate for them, try to understand them before you do anything that is a little bit on the edge. But if you can earn an extra point by making interviewers comfortable while they're doing interviews, the interview with you, then that means your stress level goes down. Okay, you are enjoying the interview. It becomes a conversation, okay, between you and them. sio tena kitu cha kuogopesha. Inakuwa vile mnaongea tu, kama vile mnapata chai, mnaongea, unaelewa, na mnajuana, au sio? So you see what I'm getting at, right? Speak from your heart, add human touch to it. Kama kuna story ambayo labda inakugusa, kitu ambacho kimetokea nyuma maishani mwako ambacho nahisi ni relevant, okay, kwa kazi ambayo una apply, share your story, okay, kwa sababu your story inaweza ka inspire wao make decision on your favor, okay. Your story inaweza ka verify your interest for that job. Tuko moja, okay, sawa, okay, sawa, let's go guys. So how to prepare yourself? So just checking the time. What am I doing in terms of time? Oh, I said nimevuka muda kidogo, poleni. How to prepare yourself? Preparing yourself means kwamba unajitayarishaje, okay? When I was preparing for any interviews, I was going through the job description, the company that I'm going to, the company I'm applying for. So I would have series of applications I would do, right? And then if I get called for an interview, that I dig deeper, right? I start looking at the company in detail, understanding each and every service they provide, going through the company profile of people who are working there. Okay, sometimes some companies they would have each individual with their profile. Okay, taking notes of everything that is relevant. Okay, nikimaliza hapo naenda ku research wale ambao watani interview. Some interviews you'll be told who is going to interview you. Go and research them. Who are they? What is their position? What is their qualification or qualifications? How long have they been working for that company? Know them, okay? Know their faces. How do they look, okay? Maybe they have put their pictures in LinkedIn so you can see their faces as well. So that when you are there in the interview, you don't have to ask, you know who is Veronica, you know who is Rehema or whatever it is, okay? As soon as you see them, you can even start, hi, Mr. John. So unasema kabla sijajitambulisha, before I introduce myself, this guy already knew who I am. Okay, kwa hiyo wewe unakuwa tayari kuwa ahead. Okay, because you always want to be ahead of your competition. That's how the world is, unfortunately, but it's also a good thing, right? You tailor your answer based on the job description. Tumeshaongea hilo. I'm just emphasizing. Ensure your answers reflect your previous experience. Lazima ulete vitu kutoka kwenye previous experience uvilete kwenye hiyo nini? Kwenye hiyo interview, right? Kwenye majibu yako ambayo prepare. You read them and practice them. Kwa hiyo unaweza kuongea na ukuta, unaweza kuongea na wewe mwenyewe kwenye kioo, unaweza kumtafuta rafiki yako kumweka pale mbele kumwambia, listen, can we try this? You ask this question and then I answer, and then you tell me, what do you think? How does it feel? Does it feel right or nani? Alafu then tuta exchange, wewe utafanya hivi, alafu mimi ndo nitakuwa nakuuliza maswali. Okay, kwa hiyo mna practice. Alright, kwa hiyo maana both of you guys you get better at preparing yourself for the interview. So, sorry guys for taking more of your time. Please let's go to questions and answers. Questions and suggestions, and we can from there. Thank you for you being patient. I really appreciate. I'm going to stop sharing. I can see there are hundreds of texts, but I hope that my colleagues were dealing with those texts. Okay. So I can see some questions already. Let me go through the questions quickly, but come up to hope kuna nani. Sorry, I want to know if the session has commenced. This not a question as such. Okay. Maybe somebody can, Joseph or Michael, can you please read the questions for me to make it easier? I will appreciate that.
Okay. I read the questions. Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay. So the first question from Gaspar Frank, it says, how can, it says, how can my language affect my interview? As you know, most of us don't speak English correctly. There's a lot of broken, so sometimes it causes us to lose confidence. So for what percent language can cause someone to fail in an interview? That's the question.
Oh, that's a very good question. Unfortunately, I have to break the bad news. Language can affect you massively. I'll tell you the truth, because I was lucky. My parents invested in me learning English, right? Different investment, like taking me to English course, different English course, na America practice, like that. I have seen how much difference it makes that I know how to speak English, or I can comfortably speak English. Kwa hiyo naona kwamba kwa sababu ya Kiingereza au namna ninavyoongea Kiingereza nakuwa perceived as if I'm more confident, or I know more about what I'm talking about, or I am the right, I'll be amazing person. Lakini ukweli ni kwamba unaweza ukawa unajua Kiingereza lakini you're not the right person for that job. You're not qualified for that job. However, there's a biasness. Sawa, kwa sababu language ya kwenye kazi ni Kiingereza. Sawa? Unless unafanya kazi kwenye kampuni ndogo sana, small business, lakini medium enterprise na large organization, it's English. Okay? Labda ita change in the future. So invest in the language, invest in speaking English. The thing about speaking English, because majority of university already know English. You know English, you use it for answering your tests, doing assignments and everything. The only problem is you don't speak it, you don't practice it. So practice it. Find two people, the friends, and practice. 1 hour, 2 hours every single day, you will improve dramatically. Okay, so yes, so short answer affects a lot. I would say even 40%. But I'm happy to have anyone disagree with me. I don't mind. But that's my take on it. You have to invest on language. Next. And next question, Michael.
The next question asks, am I allowed to enter an interview with a notebook?
Yes, you're allowed to enter in the interview with a notebook as long as they can see that you are, how can I say, okay, oral interview, you cannot have DESA. There's no way, you don't have DESA, okay? So kwa sababu maswali utakaoulizwa, utaulizwa maswali ambayo so the notebook is essentially for you taking notes. It's not for you to read from notebook. So maybe that because if you read from notebook, that does not look good, not very good. So what you need is you're using notebook to take down some notes when they're asking you a question. Okay, so when they're asking you a question, you can start preparing the answer already. Kwa hiyo mtu akikuuliza swali, wewe unaandika, okay, kutokana na hili swali analouliza, I know that the first thing I'll talk about is this, the second thing I'll talk about is this, the third thing I'll talk about is this. Okay, so wale wakati wana introduce, kwa mfano ukishaingia kwenye interview, mara nyingine wanachofanya wanakuambia, okay, sisi kampuni yetu inaitwa hivi na hivi, kampuni yetu inafanya kazi hii, na wanaanza na maelezo kuhusiana na kampuni mara nyingi. Sawa, sasa kama wewe kuna vitu ulivimiss kwenye website ya vikuwepo, okay, you have to take down notes vile ambavyo ulikuwa vijui, kwa sababu if you take down notes you appear to be very attentive. You are an attentive person who is taking note of anything that he may have missed. Okay, this gives you an extra point. Secondly, when they talk about job description, wataiongelea tena, ingawa wewe una printed, kama tulivyosema, you need to have job description with you. So you can look at the job description. For mfano, you have your notebook, but job description, you're allowed to look at it or to refer to it. It's fine. You have to have your CV as well. Najua CV yako lazima iprint. Ile CV ambayo submit kwao lazima uwe nayo siku unapoenda pale. Ili tunapouliza swali, usitoke nje ya CV ambayo umesubmit. Prepare CV moja afu na submit CV nyingine. Kwa sababu utauliza maswali kutoka ni CV yako. CV yako ile ile tu. Pale unapotolea maswali. Okay, so having the right CV with you, is safe. Tuko pamoja. Sawa, nadhani nimejibu swali kama sijakosea. Where your notebook is for you taking notes from what they are saying, whether it's they're talking about the company or the job description, or they're asking you a specific question. So we can go next one because of time.
The next one, this was someone asking if they're allowed to answer a question.
If they're
allowed to answer a question, like here, right here, I think Nancy Kaya is asking, am I allowed to answer? I think she was asking if she could answer one of the questions.
She could answer one of the questions. Oh, okay. You can write on the message because of the time limit.
Okay. Yeah, she was already typed.
Okay.
Okay. Another question is.
Thank you, Nancy.
There's another question. It says, what about to tell the reasons that made you leave your previous job?
So you're being asked to, okay. So there are several reasons why you can be leaving your previous job, but give reasons that look good for you. Okay, don't give reasons that makes you look like someone who is just jumping to the next opportunity, or someone who's not really committed, or someone who is opportunistic. Okay, so usually the good reasons are, I have outgrown my role. Okay, I no longer see opportunity for growth. Okay, that's a good reason. Okay, I've realized that the role is no longer challenging. Okay, so that means that I'm doing the same thing over and over. I want something a little bit challenging, something a little bit provocative, something that can make me think a little bit more or develop myself more. Another one is the few opportunities or no opportunities for training and development. Okay, so I want to be in a place where I can have opportunities for training and development, and I know that your company does training and development for their employees, so on. Okay, another reason you can say, I want to expand the sectors that I work with. Okay, so I've been working in food and beverage sector. Now I want to work in, I don't know, let's say construction industry, or I want to work in whatever it is. Okay, so you want to expand your horizon. Okay, or you're working in private sector, you want to now to work in non-profit sector. Okay, so these are good reasons. All right, so just be careful, mindful of. And also another thing is, never say bad thing about your previous employer. So don't say that the previous employer was not paying well. Don't do that. Don't say that your previous employer was overworking you. Don't do that. Okay, it doesn't look good. Even if we were overworking you, just don't. Look for reasons that are, they sounds better. They make you look professional, because keep it all about career progression, about your growth, about expanding your horizon, about maximizing your potential, things like that, without damaging the brand or the reputation of the previous employer. Okay, kwa sababu wakiona kwamba unawasema vibaya wale waliopita, watajua okay, this will happen to us as well. When he finished working with us, or she finished working with us, she'll do the same thing. Okay, next.
There are two last questions here. There aren't any
Okay.
more questions coming. So the
Okay.
one question asks, what if you've been asked about how much do you want to be paid? Then what is your answer?
Okay, how much do you want to be paid? You have to do research way before the interview. Okay, there are different ways of there's a specific session for that, but very quickly, the answer is there are resources out there that shows a company X or Y pays this amount of money for this position. Okay. However, this is not always the case in Africa or in Tanzania, because some companies do not file, do not have digital, their employees do not file, do not fill the forms or apply to put their information, disclose this information in sites like Glassdoors. Okay, you have Glassdoor. That's one of the website, but there are other websites that are actually Tanzanian websites that have salaries for specific roles. Okay, sometimes you have salaries for sectors. Okay, for example, financial sector would have different salary compared to maybe construction sector and so on. You have the minimum wage, you have maybe medium, and you have high. Okay, the other way you can find out the salary, you can befriend a person who's working there. Okay, that is if you have connection to anyone who's working there, and you can find out the salary. Another way of finding out about the salary they're paying is by looking for a similar company. Okay, that means a company in the similar sector, okay, or the similar size. Okay, a company that has a roughly similar size. So you have three sizes of a company. You have the small company, you have the medium enterprise, and then you have large organization, right? So small companies that tend to pay similar if they're in the same sector. Medium enterprise the same, and so on. Large organization is a bit different depending on whether they're international or local. Okay, the difference is going to be huge. So you can gauge using these few techniques. You can understand roughly how much they're willing to pay. Put a range. Don't put a specific figure. Don't say to them, you have to pay me 600. Okay, say my thinking for this role is based on the research I've done, is between 600 and 800. Okay, and then they can decide, or maybe 600 to whatever it is. Okay, because usually what they do, they put a budget for that role. Okay, and then in the budget, they will say, depending on the experience, we are going to pay a person between 600 and 800, or between 800 and 1 million, or 1 million to 1.5. Okay, so depending on the candidate they get, okay, this candidate we can push him because we know that he's really qualified, or she's really qualified. If we don't give her a little bit more, maybe she should get another person, or blah blah. Or depending on also your negotiation skills, then you can negotiate in the higher end. But don't give specific figure, just give a range. Okay, next question.
Okay, this is the last question. Nancy is asking, during interview, there are some circumstances that you find different interviewers ask different questions at the same time. How am I going to face that situation?
Okay, listen, interviewers is your police. They are not policemen. Okay, they're human beings. Okay, they need you, you need them. Okay, it's a two-way communication. What you can say, listen, yeah, let's have one question at a time. You can do that. It's fine. They will not fire you. They will not say, no, you unaheshima. No. They say, sorry, sir, sorry, madam. Could we do one question at a time? Okay, then the first person, because if you say, sorry, apologies, will it be okay? We do one question at a time, or you ask one question at a time. They will be fine. Okay, they will do it. Kwa sababu ni namna unavyoongea na watu, ni namna ambavyo unauliza swali, namna unavyopresent, you still show kwamba unaheshimu watu, unamheshimu yule anayokuinterview, they will be fine. Then utaandika swali. Sawa, utaandika ile swali, utajibu, atafuatia yule mwingine, utaandika. Usiruhusu kuchanganye au usiruhusu kunani. Be in control. Be in control, be confident. Elewa tu kwamba if you are there, they also need you. So it's a two-way. I understand that interview is a two-way. You are interviewing them as well. That's why at the end of the interview, they will ask you, do you have any question for us? Okay. It means that they are also in the interview, because you may decide not to work with them. Okay. It's not necessary just because you went there for the interview means you're going to take the job. Okay. Maybe you need the job and you take it anyway. Sawa, lakini inawezekana kaamua kwenda kufanya kazi kwingine. Kwa hiyo you want also to know, is this the right job for me? Are these the right people for I don't know what, sorry, I don't know what happened. You see, so then you say, I'm not gonna do this, I'm not gonna take this job. So you still have a chance. You still have, you don't have an obligation to take the job. Okay. So next question, unless there's no question. So listen, if you don't want to be on the to continue being in questions, you are allowed to leave. Those who still wants to ask questions, you can still ask questions, because I still have more time.
There are no more questions from the chat box.
Okay, so maybe anyone who wants to ask a question live from the audience, we can look into that. Okay, anyone? Because I still have time, so I'm not in a hurry. I was just being mindful for those who want. Okay, anyone?
I think there are no questions.
There are no questions. There's for someone, Doctor.
Oh,
Dr.
okay.
Dr. Karugaba, karibu. Dr. Karibu, unmute yourself.
Yeah, sure. I did. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Unaweza kunisikia sasa?
Yes, nakusikia. Karibu.
Yeah, thank you. This session has had so many questions which are very informative. But I had one request that if you will have time, you can just a little bit explain on the issue of what is your weakness, because it's a little bit tricky. I think if you can have time and explain it even in writing or whatever, how can one tell about their own weaknesses and how can it make it not look like a threat to be able to secure an employment? How can they say it in a way that it will not hinder the interviewer from saying that, oh, this will not be maybe the appropriate candidate for the job?
Okay, so I think I touched on that. What I said is you have to say a weakness that is also a strength. So, kwa mfano, wewe ni detail oriented. Detail oriented can be a strength most of the time, especially in accounting and so on, but also can be a hindrance. If someone has to go through every single thing, every single dot to authorize something, in some cases, it doesn't work like that. In accounting, it works because every shilling and every cent has to be counted. In some areas, you have to make decisions very quickly. For example, if you're designing a product, just an example. You're not designing a perfect product. What you're doing, you're just designing a prototype, or you're designing a product that will be tested, okay, by the customers, and then they will give you feedback, and then you can work on that feedback to improve the product. Okay, so if you're an accountant and if you try to perfect the product, no product will come out. Okay, it will not reach customers. Utakaa na hiyo product kwenye garage yako, utakuwa kila siku naitengeneza, but no one will know about that product. No one will test that product, and your company will fail. So if I am an entrepreneur, if I'm a business owner, right, I have to have a rough idea of something I'm offering to a client. I'm just giving an example, okay? I don't know exactly if this is exactly what the client wants, right? Nita offer, client atalipa, right? Au ataniruhusu mimi kufanya training au whatever it is. And then at the end of the day, atarudi kwangu, atanipa feedback. Look, Alfred, the solution provided was the right solution. Thank you very much. We're going to write a very nice review. Or it can be, listen, Alfred, the solution provided to us is not relevant to us. We applied it and we found out after 1 month, no one was using that program. No one was using that system. It actually made us slow down. It actually made it harder for our employees to do their job. Sasa kama mimi ningekaa tunajaribu perfect, badala ya ku deploy very quickly and then get feedback and reiterate. Iterations is you making small changes to perfect something. So this is completely different, okay? Completely different from approaching wasiu ambayo everything has to be like it's a dot to the dot, okay? So kwenye mambo ya risk, we have talked about risk averse and risk taking, okay? Some jobs requires you to be risk taker. Some jobs requires you to be risk averse, okay? However, most of the time, you're either risk averse or risk taker. Sawa, ni ngumu sana wewe ukawa ni risk taker na risk averse at the same time. Kwa hiyo risk taker ni mtu ambaye yeye anapenda kuingia katika vitu ambavyo anajua kabisa either anaweza ka lose au aka double, right? Si ndio? Na risk averse ni mtu ambaye yeye anaenda taratibu tu. Akiona opportunities hiyo tunasema I say, yani this opportunity you get so much money, unakuta naondoka. Akiambiwa opportunity utatengeneza income lakini itakuchukua muda, anaenda huko. Umeelewa? So if this person is being interviewed for a job that requires for him to be a risk taker, then being risk averse is a weakness, but it's also a strength. Kwa sababu yeye ni risk averse, ina maana atakuwa anatumia muda wake kuangalia how to mitigate the risk. Si ndio? Atakuwa anaangalia vitu gani ambavyo investment gani ambazo ni risky, is too risky to invest. Still, even if he becomes a risk taker, he will not take risk in the same way as a risk taker. Kwa sababu initially alikuwa ni risk averse. So you have to find, depending on the sector, depending on the job you're applying, you need to find weaknesses ambazo ni strength pia. So you can find them online. Na naweza nikatoa a few more examples maybe kwenye book you can write. But I think tayari hapa tumesha touch almost two or three more examples. But you as an accountant, you go into in a design, it's a completely different world. Michael does lots of design, so we'll tell you that you cannot go with an accounting attitude.
Okay? Yes, sure. Thank you.
You're welcome. Any other question?
There's a question. There's a question in the chat box.
Okay.
It says, according to that question, maybe my weakness is to work after working hours so that I make sure I fulfill my work.
That is a very good weakness.
Does that mean
yes,
it is
that's
a strength to the company?
No, that's a perfect weakness. That is perfect weakness. Kwa nini? Kwa sababu that is a weakness in terms that you when you start working on something, you want to make sure you finish it. So what happens is sometimes you end up working till late, which can lead to health problems, right? You can overwork, you can burn, you can have, you can, what do we call it, burn, or I don't remember what it is. Okay, you can be hospitalized, okay, by overworking. I think you guys know. Kwa hiyo ni weakness, lakini at the same time it's strength, kwa sababu it means you are goal oriented, you want to achieve the results. So then how do you plan to mitigate that? Utasema, okay, I know my weakness is sometimes I end up working late. Okay, no employer will say, listen, kwa sababu weakness yako wewe ni unaweza ukajikuta unafanya kazi mpaka usiku sana, hatukuajiri. No. Let's say this is the person we want. Lakini watakachotaka ni kwamba, okay, how do you make sure that you still rest so that you can stay, you can work with us longer, miaka mitatu, miaka mitano, utaanguka ofisini. Okay, you can say, listen, what I try to do, one of the things I think I can do to mitigate the risk is making sure that I also take care of myself to ensure that the times that I stay longer at work is not all the time. It's maybe only in deadlines, like in a month-end deadlines or in reporting deadlines that needs us to really finish them on time. And then for other times, I'll take a rest. I'll make sure I exercise, I eat well, and yeah. So kwa hiyo unaweza kusema kwamba ni vitu gani ambavyo unafanya ili kuweza kujisustain na kupumzika. Okay, naona kuna mtu
Joseph ameshare a YouTube link.
Yes.
For 11 good weaknesses.
Yes, you can use those ones that Joseph has shared. Okay, any other question? We have talked quite a lot. And I know usually this is supposed to be 2-hour class. So, but it's just too much to cover in very little time. So, as I said before, you're free to be more time. Okay. Okay, another question. Okay, no question. Okay, any other question? Maybe we can go through these examples quickly. Let's stress if the word. Some examples, they have to be careful with them, Joseph and others. So because you still need to explain each weakness. Why is it a weakness and why is it a strength? Are we together, guys? Eh? Okay. So you don't necessarily have to say why is it a strength, but they will figure out that actually it's not necessarily a weakness. It can also be a strength because it has some benefits to it. Okay, so whatever weakness you choose, you have to be able to explain. So don't just pick from online and just paste it to yourself. Try to find something that actually resonates with you, something that makes sense to you and it's easy for you to explain. Okay, kitu ambacho kiko genuine. Okay, so okay, anyone else? Okay, we have overrun time, but I think we can wrap it here. Thank you so much. Unless there's anything else, maybe Michael, you can close the session, or Hadija, any of the two.
Okay, Hadija say, I think I'll let Hadija close.
Yes.
Maybe she's away from her device. Thank you very much for coming. Thank you very much for everyone who has stayed behind. up to this time. We're really out of time, but thank you very much for asking the questions. I really hope everyone has enjoyed the session, and I hope to see you again here tomorrow. Good night.
Good night, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Good night.
Okay, good night. Good night. Bye. Maybe Michael can stay behind.
No problem.
And DJ, if you want, then we can just stop the recording.